Hey YouTube, so I like to make this video for a couple of good reasons. One, we were supposed to get the Crow reboot or remake or whatever you want to call it this month, but it got pushed back in the next 2 months from right now. But I like to make this argument. And I want to ask this to, so all the boomers, Gen X kids or adults who are probably in their 30s and 40s, and all you millennials, well actually no, millennials and Gen Zs, this is what I want to ask you. Do you even know what the Crow is? I know the Gen X kids and the boomer kids, or the boomer people, let's just call them that. Let's not call them kids. I know they pretty much know what the Crow is, just by a drop of a dime. But, do you millennials even know what the Crow is? Do you Gen Z people, do you even know what the Crow is? Do any of you people who were born in the late 90s, the very late 90s, and now are 20-something years old right now, or like, do you even know what the Crow is? Does any of you? Any of you? No? Don't even know what it is? Never heard of the Crow? Brendan Lee, son of Bruce Lee, died on set, 30 years ago. Had to use special effects to make him look like he was there, but sadly it was digital effects. But yeah, all I just want to tell you people is, do you even know what the Crow even is? And now seeing the trailer, do you even know what the hell that even is? If the answer is no, thank you! Honest to God, thank you! Some of you never know what the Crow was. And now I know a lot of you have seen my last video of the Crow remake of the picture. I'm sorry, the trailer didn't do shit for me. I'm sorry, the trailer did not. I'm know you're gonna find this not surprising, but unfortunately the trailer didn't do diddly shit to convince me. Didn't do diddly shit to convince me. Now of course, my one positive, the gore in this movie or in the trailer, spectacular. Gory as hell, gory as freaking hell, and beautifully gory. What else can I really say? Now, here's another thing I should probably mention. Will it once again be like the Crow sequels? If you have not seen my video, the Crow sequels, go right ahead and watch it. But the Crow sequels, they have proven to be a failure. Like I said before, City of Angels was the last Crow movie in theaters. Then came Salvation, was not really in theaters, but released on DVD. Then, do I need to say anything about the Crow Wicked Prayer? Do I? Well, let me just tell you the positives I can say about this. This film looks way better than the Crow Wicked Prayer, but on one occasion, Crow Wicked Prayer isn't really in the city. It's basically in, well, the countryside, basically. But either way, I'm getting off track. Like, you can't do this to people today. I don't mean you can't just remake something that people don't know about. Like, no, not everyone knows what The Crow is. Not everybody even knows what The Crow is. Now, of course, you have your mom or grandma or father or grandfather who showed you the first Crow movie and said, you know who that is playing the Crow? That's the son of Bruce Lee. Yay, that's nice. Who's Bruce Lee? Yeah, now here's one thing I can basically say. You have something like Batman. Something like Batman is something every parent has to tell their kid. Has to show and tell their kid, or let their kids see it themselves. So let me put two superheroes, let's just say three superheroes that you have to show for people to understand, oh, that's a superhero or whatever. But here's three superheroes that are successful today, that if you were to do your own take, people are like, oh yeah, I know what that is. Batman, Spider-Man, and Iron Man. Now, what's my issue? Now, what I mean by that? How do people know who Iron Man is? Because of Robert Downey Jr. How do people know who Spider-Man is? Because of Tobey Maguire and Andrew Garfield and Tom Holland. How do people know who Batman is? Because they've seen the Christopher Nolan Batman, George Clooney Batman, Val Kilmer Batman, and Michael Keaton Batman. Something like that, people were like, oh, I know what that is because I've seen the original movies. Now, just so you know, the Crow movies are not that popular. Like the first one, great. But here's the problem about the first one. That was back in 1994. Most kids are like, I don't want to watch that old ass movie that my uncle was 6 years old during the time. Why would I want to watch a movie that's like older than my uncle? Yeah. You're going to get people who are not going to like watching older films. And I know you're probably going to say, well, if you modernize it to most people's extent, they might get into it. Well, here's the thing. There has not been a Crow sequel or a Crow movie since 2005 or 2006, where it got released on TV, because that's how bad the Crow Wicked Prayer was, basically. But either way, all I can say is, you can't, and also just the look of the Crow. Who the hell is that? Who in the hell is that? If you want to do your own version of the Crow, well, here's the thing. Here's the thing I learned about the Crow sequels. Don't call him Eric Draven. Do not call him Eric Draven if you're going with a different design. Do not call him Eric Draven. Maybe give him his own nickname or name in general. Or Marcus Craven. That sounds a little close to Eric Draven, but still, you can't just do something like this. Give a new design to the Brendan Lee Crow or the character Eric Draven, because he's supposed to look like what Jason Momoa kind of looks like. Like, you can't just give him a completely different design and saying, well, we were going for another design from the original, from Crow comic book. Like, no, you can't do that. It's like giving Iron Man, you know, a Power Ranger costume. And I don't mean like a Power Ranger costume where, you know, it has the armor-looking style. I mean like the Power Ranger costume from the show. The tights, spandex, the zipper in the back. Like, yes. You can't do that to Iron Man. Saying that, oh, that, you know, tights and spandex is supposed to be his armor. No, you can't do that. You can't do that for a character like Iron Man. You need to make him have an iron suit. Now for Spider-Man. Now I know a lot of people are saying, what am I going to say about Spider-Man? Well, here's the thing. For Spider-Man, I know people may complain about Andrew Garfield's Spider-Man looking like too much of a toy, which, well, it's Spider-Man, what do you expect? But either way, yeah, I know the original design of Andrew Garfield's Spider-Man makes it look like he's a basketball-shaped Spider-Man. But all I just wanted to say is something like, I mean, with Andrew Garfield's Spider-Man, the first Andrew Garfield Spider-Man franchise, he looks like Spider-Man, but in a different design. Now for the sequel, they made him more like Spider-Man, like we all know him as the best. But, you know, not saying he's the best Spider-Man. It's still Tom Holland, and it's still Tobey Maguire. But either way, how would you like it if they just did a completely different design of Spider-Man, making him an actual spider? I don't mean like an actual spider, like an actual spider looking like an actual spider. Like, no, you can't make Spider-Man this scary. You have to make him look like as he is in the comics. And that's the last and final point I want to mention. For Spider-Man, he needs to look like the comic. For Iron Man, looks like the comic. Like Batman looks like the comic. Now, one thing I could say about Batman, you know, they were almost kind of close with making his eyes, you know, white, basically. But either way, all I just want to say is, you can't do this to a type of character, giving him a new design, not make him look exactly like the comic, like the James O'Barr's comic from The Crow. You can't do that for The Crow. You can't just give him a new design, new looking design, and say, oh, he's supposed to be a new version of The Crow. You can't do this type of thing. And I really mean it. You cannot just make a new design, say, oh, he's supposed to be, you know, Eric Draven. You know what they're trying to do. They're trying to do what everything is trying to do these days. They're trying to be like Marvel, make a franchise out of it. But you know what? I'm afraid one thing I'm going to have to say. I'm truly going to have to say this. But this is going to be even worse than the sequels. This is going to be worse than the sequels. And that's all I can basically say. Now, for my pitch, I will save that for another time. I will pitch my movie. Actually, I'll show something a little similar to, well, I don't want to say just yet, but I'll save that for another time. But for next week, look forward for me talking about my favorite Disney movie of all time. And I'm not bullshitting on that. My most favorite Disney movie of all time. That is... Yeah, I'm not going to scream that loud. But either way, you get what I'm trying to say. Lion King. This Monday... Yep. I will be releasing my review, or my sort of rant review for The Lion King. And don't worry, we'll have some more fun pretty soon. So with that being said, Vertical Spy, outro.
Yo, Steve Bloom here, voice of Spike Spiegel. Remember to subscribe and get vertical.